there because you can absolutely do it. I always say, like, you wouldn't see it if you couldn't do it. You wouldn't see it in your mind if you didn't have the capacity to actually create that for yourself. But there's an evolution that you must take in order to become the version of yourself who is a vibrational match for that. So we all know, where we've probably heard at some point, that in life and in business, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. And so for a long time, I was a woman who looked at people who were doing the things that I now do and said, I want that. I would love that. I think back to when I was in corporate sales and I would look at people who had their own coaching businesses, and I was doing the corporate grind, and I was like, gosh, I would love that. But I didn't believe in myself to the level where I actually felt like I could do it. But then I had to become the version of me who actually saw herself as an entrepreneur. Or I think, hold on, I'm going to make my team co-host because I can't manage this waiting room and do this at the same time. Lauren, can you make Kim co-host for me, please? If you can, that would be amazing. I think too, when I became an entrepreneur, and for years and years was relatively successful, probably by most people's standards. I was making low six figures. I was coaching and working with some really cool clients, helping people build their brands and their businesses. But I wanted to do the things I was helping my clients do. Does that make sense? I was helping people hit top 10 podcaster. I was helping New York Times bestselling authors grow their brands, their business. And I secretly, deeply wanted a way more expansive life and business for myself. And so I would put things on the vision board, and I'm smiling. And I'm not going to show you today, but for those of you who are in the community, I can send you a picture of this. I've got my vision board pulled up right now as my desktop screensaver, and it's got beautiful things that are all happening to do with the growth of our podcast, to do with how I'm living. I'm looking at one of the things I had on here was like a condo in North Carolina, which I'm actually coming to you from right now. So I've got to update the vision board. But I used to be a woman who would create her vision board and look at it and feel defeated. I don't know how many of you can relate to that, or it would feel distant or far off. And I was like, what am I not getting? Why is it that other people can have the seven-figure business, the million-dollar business, can live life a certain way, and I want that, but I'm not experiencing it? And it was because I wasn't actually a match for it. I didn't view myself as the woman who could have it and be it. And so today is about, how do you become the version of you where success, the success that you desire, naturally flows to you, where it's a natural byproduct of who you're being. I hope that makes sense. And so I want you to think about, I would love for you, as we're coming into this space today. And again, I just want to welcome you. If you're new here, if this is your first time in the expansion room, drop a 1 in the chat. I see some new names. We'd love to honor you and welcome you and say hello and thank you for being here. So really, really excited that you're here. But I want you to think about, for those of you who are here live, one goal. What is one goal right now that you're currently working on? And I would love to invite you to share it in the chat. Whatever that is, maybe it's a business goal, maybe it's a revenue goal, maybe it's a life goal. You want to get a new home somewhere, travel a certain way, live a certain way. But what's your one goal that you're working on right now? I'm just checking the chat right now. Oh, Christina, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. It has been a really long time. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome. So be thinking about your goal, be thinking about your vision, because I want you to have one thing in mind in particular as we enter into this conversation. The one thing where if I could we'd snap our fingers, it would happen. Just think about what that is. And again, I'd invite you to share it in the chat. It's very inspiring, and something that I really value about our community is that we share our goals and vision unapologetically. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too large. Nothing is too much. And I think that's really important. Beautiful, Amy. 5x revenue, building a business, leading a movement. Yes, yes, yes. We've had a lot of conversation about that in 50K lately, right? Like really transitioning to seeing yourself, not just as a business owner or a coach, but as a movement leader. That's a big shift in identity. That's a big shift in capacity. because the woman who leads a movement sees that I can help and serve millions of people versus the woman who maybe has a smaller scale coaching business and she's working with a dozen, maybe a couple dozen clients. Like nothing wrong with either, but knowing what you're destined for, knowing what the grandest version of you would do and giving yourself permission to actually start to see yourself as doing that, that is power. That's identity shift, and that's capacity shift as well. Let's see here. So Dan/Carrie, help me retire my husband, Dan, without feeling it's too heavy and too much to carry. We just had another woman in the community do this 2 weeks ago, maybe more like a month ago. A member of our mastermind left corporate, retired her husband, is now moving to Costa Rica, all within the space of like a couple months. It's 100% doable. But what I'll say, Carrie, to that is that if it feels heavy, you're not going to do it. So this is really important. And this is, if I was coaching you directly, I would work with you on creating an energy shift to let that feel light, to let it feel easy. More money does not need to feel more heavy, but if it does, you're going to block yourself from doing it. So maybe when we move into coaching, we can actually work on that for you to help you move the energy there as well. Carrie's saying go to warmer weather during the winter months. I love it. Eliminating debt. Beautiful. Look, the warmer weather thing, you can do it. We literally just did it. I was like, I'm doing this. I'm a woman who has multiple locations, who has a space in the South when she wants to. And we literally just did it. Like it's so easy. It's just a decision. And I don't blame you because I was there with you this winter. I said, never again. And then for anyone who's not familiar, we're in Maine. Well, one of my places now is in Maine. And I decided I don't want to do that in the winter again. Eliminating debt. Beautiful. So for your subconscious, focus on financial freedom versus the word debt. Focus on I'm financially free. That's going to help you because your subconscious is just going to focus on whatever the word is. So whenever I'm helping clients with their belief rewiring or scripting, we always use the word financial freedom versus debt because the subconscious will lock onto debt and you'll just get more of that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Debt is beautiful. It's just all about like when you're in a space in your life, when you're ready to clear it and move on, that's great too, right? Amy, save for, yes, Buffalo, New York. Well, we're getting you to Florida, babe. I love it. Christina, build a business that will thrive through starting a family. Oh, I love that. Stepping away from maternity leave one day. We have, again, so many beautiful members of the community. One of our 10K club members just had her first baby. And I truly think that, I know we've got men and women in this community, which I love. I think that, especially for the women I work with, creating a life in a business where you can create that time freedom for yourself, that financial freedom for yourself, where your business is creating money and generating money for you, revenue for you, like whether you're working or not, that's a mindset shift and that's a capacity shift too. So we're going to work on that today and talk about what it actually takes. Let it feel light and easy, Carrie. Yes, yes, that is it. Okay, so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the topic. All right. I'll do a little bit of super quick, like 3 to 5 minute housekeeping, and then we're going to dive right into it today. I think I've shared my story on a lot of these expansion rooms. So some of you are new here. If you're not familiar with my story, you can go to my YouTube, you can check it out, but I'm going to keep that higher level today. And we're going to focus more on the actual topic. Lauren, maybe we can drop the link for the YouTube here in the chat for anyone who's not subscribed, so they can check out more content there as well. But so the expansion room, what we're here for today, this is a weekly place that I wanted to create where if you're a visionary, you're a leader, you're a sales professional, you're an entrepreneur, you're an aspiring entrepreneur, or maybe you're already pretty successful by most people's standards, but you have a vision of way more, where you could come in and be supported in your expansion, have the experience of what is it like to be coached by Elyse, to have the team here. You'll meet different members of my team as we go. I think we may have someone new coming in next week, which is fun, to lead this because my kids will be out of summer camp next week. But to have the experience of, well, what is it like to be coached in the She Sells and Superhuman Selling community? what is this all about? And also provide real value for you so that you can shift and grow in your time here. And so make sure that you're registered every week. It's elisearcher.com/expansion-room to register to be here live. And that's going to give you the opportunity to receive live coaching by me or by a member of my team if we have someone different leading it for that particular week. Um, and then for today, if you have not yet downloaded, I want to make sure you all have access to a free resource. So the very high level version of my story is I went from a woman who was stuck, struggling for over a decade, couldn't break past an income plateau, like doing well by most people's standards, but secretly struggling with anxiety, panic attacks, eating disorder, a lot of self-doubt, to making a life-changing decision that I was no longer available to play small. I was no longer available to trade my life for mediocre, right? I wanted great for my life. I wanted great for my business. And I just finally decided to get unstuck. And in that decision, it involved investing in myself in ways that felt incredibly uncomfortable, getting way out of my comfort zone, putting myself way out there like never before. But I 10x. I went from stuck at the same level for over a decade to turning my annual income into my monthly income in 6 weeks. And you can do it too. This is what I want you to know. There is nothing special or different about me. I think we're all special and unique. But what I found was a set of principles that anyone could apply to have their own quantum leap. Whether you want to retire your partner, whether you want to create a second home, a different location for yourself, whether you want to provide differently for your family, for your children, whether you want to have that time freedom, like Christina was sharing, to go on maternity leave and have your baby and live that beautiful life. Like, you can do it. Anything you see me or anyone else doing that inspires you, it is a latent potential that is in you that has the ability to be developed and experienced, but you must understand and know the principles that will get you there. And so the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth is the foundation of the training and the program that we take our clients through within the community. And we have a free training, a free download that you can get that will walk you through it at a high level. So Lauren, if we can drop that link in the chat, please, Lauren or Kim, that would be great. It's 4quadrant.elisearcher.com. I want to make sure you have access to that and you go through that. And then at the end of the call today, we'll talk about how to book a call with myself, with my team, to go deeper into the work, to explore how we can help support you and some of the things we've got coming up too, because we've got a lot of cool stuff going on as well. So with that, let's get into it. Let's talk about capacity. This really, really matters. And my experience has been, and I'll just put this out there too before we get into it, drop your questions in the chat as we go. If you have a question on this, if you're like, hey, why, like, how do I limit my capacity? What is capacity in business? Why does it matter? What's the difference between a 6-figure earnings capacity and a 7 or multi-7-figure earnings capacity? It's all different and it all matters. And I want to answer your questions live. So please engage, drop questions in the chat. I want to hear from you all on what your questions are about this. But I think about, the version of me who was stuck and struggling, and I'll just share some of my own personal story here because I think stories help, versus the woman who had her first quantum leap, who saw that it was possible. Her inner self-concept, her thermostat, her capacity for wealth, her self-image, the way she saw herself in the world was very, very different. Very, very different. And when I talk about your capacity, what I mean is, how much energy can you have and hold? Money is energy. Business is energy. Clients are energy. Visibility is energy. That's all it. That's all it is. It's all energy. That's all it boils down to. The energy and capacity of the woman who was running a 6-figure business was very different than the version of me now running a multi-7-figure business going to 8. It's very, very different. I used to say things like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm busy, I don't have enough time. I used to live in scarcity. Do you think that woman, even though she had a vision board that was showing the 7-figure business and retiring her partner and doing those things, did that woman have the capacity to take on more? If you're saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm busy, I'm stressed out, is the universe going to be like, yeah, let me give you a lot more of what you want? No, right? You're going to deflect it. You're going to push it away. You're giving out the energetic signature and imprint that you can't take on more. So one of the best decisions I ever made for myself was deciding I would no longer use the word busy to describe my experience. I would no longer use the word overwhelm. I had a mentor once say, I'm not available for overwhelm. And I was like, that's it. We're doing that moving forward. I'm no longer available for struggle, not available for that. You can say, some of the things I'll say are like, I know that I'm having a growth experience. I'm in a capacity expanding season. I'll say stuff like that, but never struggle. We don't say that. Oh, Angela, you're here. Hello. So good to see you. You stopped using the word busy years ago. It makes such a big difference. And the funny thing is, you probably experienced this too, Angela. Like my life today is much fuller than it was when I was saying I was busy all the time. Life today, 3 kids, 5 and under, running this business, multiple homes and locations and households. Like it is perceptibly a fuller life. Someone could say, oh, she's busy. I would never say that about myself. Would never say that about myself. I had someone recently who is a dear family member say to me, oh my gosh, you guys are under such tremendous pressure with what you're doing in your family right now with like kids and life and my hubby doing medical school. And I was like, no, I didn't say this to them, but my thought was, I don't feel pressured. Like, no, I don't ascribe to that. I don't feel that. I don't believe in that. I believe in expanding our capacity to match the life that we want. And I think that that's actually the whole purpose of a goal is to become the version of yourself who can do it. Right. So, Carrie, I think about the financial goal you shared on the last call. And there is a different version of the version of you who does that in the next 6 months than the version now, right? Without even needing to know where you are right now. So, if we make it less about the goal and more about who is the version of me who brings in this amount of money in the next 6 months, who allows herself to receive this much, who views this as natural and normal, who maybe significantly bumps up her prices or gets super creative with what she's doing for the summer, or who becomes unavailable for a Maine winter anymore. It's like, I'm not doing it. I'm becoming the woman who has a place in the South as well and who does that naturally and normally. And then you focus on manifesting or creating that version of yourself more so than the goal. That's when the shift happens because money, clients, opportunity, it's all just a mirror of your self concept. So don't try to change the mirror, change you, right? That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. I was checking in the chat. Angela is saying we have a full life, not a busy one. Exactly. I say to my kids, like, wow, we have so many beautiful things going on. And aren't we lucky? Aren't we grateful? Aren't we like this is amazing. We get to do this. We get to travel. We get to live here. We get to live there. We get to go different places and do different things like this. Like, but it's always in the energy of yes, more, please. Yes, more, please. All right. Busy sounds like everything is unintentional, 100%. So the first thing I would do if you're listening today is just some self-awareness around like, am I speaking any of those words over my life? Right? Because the woman or man who is busy, who's overwhelmed, you're not going to have the capacity to take on more. You're not. And so I want to talk a little bit today. And again, if you have a question on any of this, or if you'd like coaching, raise your hand or drop your name in the chat. I want to kind of open it up now as we talk for questions on any of this that are coming through for you. But I want to talk about regulating your capacity to hold more clients, more money, more opportunities, and how to start to do that. Because again, we can say, and someone might say all day long, like, I would love for 100 clients to show up today. Or I would love for $1 million to show up today, but could you have and hold it? Would it feel natural and normal for you? Or would you be surprised? Would you feel overwhelmed? Would any part of you feel overwhelmed? Would you not be ready? There's a universal law. Now, this is not about procrastination. I want to be really clear because people can twist this. But there's a universal law called the law of preparation. And what that means is that whatever the result is that you're looking to call in, you start preparing for it. My team is very good at this. We're very, very good at this, where we say, okay, if we wanted to bring in, we have a high ticket coaching program. It's a 6-figure buy-in at least. It's anywhere from 100 to 200,000 for the work we do with these particular clients. And I was talking to my business partner in this the other day, and we were like, okay, if we wanted to serve 100 women at this level right now, what would we need to do? What would be different? What would we shift? What would we change? And we started thinking about that, and we started looking at, okay, what systems would need to be built out? What would need to be in place? What would need to be streamlined? And we looked at it, we're like, okay, like, could we actually take that on today? Not gracefully, not well, not that we wouldn't love it, but it would be a bit clunky, to be honest. But that's okay, because it tells us, where do we want to go? What do we need to prepare for? How do we need to set things up to be able to have and hold that amount? All right. Now, again, this is not procrastination, because someone can get caught up in this and say, oh, well, Elyse is telling me not to go sell until I'm completely ready to take on these clients. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's fear disguised as preparation. That's not what I'm talking about. But capacity is both your energy. So what amount of money feels natural and normal for you? And if right now I want you to think about your financial goal, whatever it is. If you received that today, would you be surprised? Would you be elated? Would you be thrilled? Would you be relieved? Or would it feel normal? Would it feel normal? You will always manifest what feels normal. And if you have not created the energetic capacity, and this is some of the work we do with our clients in the 10K club, in the mastermind, in our community, to regulate your nervous system around higher amounts of wealth. You may have what feels like a big month to you. Like, I remember my first 100K month, when it came in so fast. I was like, holy crap, right? It came in fast. I had to regulate myself around that. It felt pretty normal, but I wasn't quite there yet. So I had to regulate my nervous system around it. I had to say, what was once my ceiling is now my new floor. I had to say, this is normal and natural. It's safe for me to receive this much. Now we do way more than that, and it feels natural and normal. Now, are there levels that I haven't reached yet that if it came in today, I'd feel surprised? Yeah. And that's totally okay. That's not a big deal. That's my own growth. That's my own aspiration and my own capacity expansion. Carrie, you're saying you just had an aha moment. Ooh, do you want to come off mute and share? You said you understand what's in the way. What showed up for you with that?
Sure. So it's a bit personal, but I'm okay with sharing.
Yeah.
So I fairly recently went through a breakup,
Mhm.
and well, we've been consciously breaking up for a while, but it really, really ended 8 months ago. Um, we own a house together,
Mm-hmm.
and so my credit card situation is not allowing me to get the house in my own name.
Mm.
But I just like it all like made sense to me while you were speaking is I don't want to let him go completely. So I want his name on my
Yeah.
house. So that means my debt's not going away
Yeah.
because, and I'm like, this makes so much sense now. It's like that's what's in my way. And to feel safe receiving the money
Yeah.
to to do my next version of myself
Yes.
without him. And I always like to say this, everything happens for a reason, and the situation that I'm in is good, and there's something that like this is good for me for my expansion. So I know I'm expanding, but I have to realize it's safe to do it without him.
Yeah. Yes. That's such a big awareness and such a beautiful shift. And anytime we find ourselves in a situation where it's like the credit cards aren't budging, or why do I feel capped at a certain level and I can't go beyond it? There's something deeper under the hood that we want to get to. And to your point of realizing, oh my gosh, what is this? I always look at like, how is this serving me? What is it protecting me from? What am I afraid of? to your point, it's keeping that connection that you haven't quite been ready to let go of. When you do that, whatever that clearing work is for you, to bless and release that relationship and to say, thank you so much for who you were in my life in this part of it. And I'm now fully releasing you. I'm now fully freeing you to your highest good. I'm going to my highest good. That money is going to move. It's going to move. Like, what a beautiful awareness. Such a beautiful awareness, Carrie.
Yeah, and I'll just say the interesting thing is right after this, I do a swap because I channel and psychic stuffs. So I'm having a swap. So I know exactly what I'm going to work on after this.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Once you like when you stop making the thing wrong, like the credit card balance is wrong, the bank account wrong, when you stop making it wrong and you look at like, what have you been protecting me from? Or you go into gratitude with it. Thank you so much for this. It will shift everything because we know with resistance, what we resist persists. And a lot of times we want to make something wrong. I appreciate credit cards. I think they're amazing. I think they help us um leverage, right? Other people's money to get what we want. That's incredible, right? So it's all about your relationship with it. And you may be at a time where you're like, I'm ready to release this. I'm ready to free this. I'm ready to create more relaxation, more flow in my life. Beautiful. But when you can approach it from that energy of, wow, you were providing some sort of a connection to him. And I'm ready to let that go now. That energy changes everything. And that's something else. I'll even speak to like my own journey and evolution lately. Because there's been a lot of growth and change in my life, especially in the last like 7 to 8 months. And when I think about where I was maybe a couple years ago, and I'd had my first quantum leap and the business had really expanded. And I was like, okay, now there's another level I want to get to. And for me, I saw things like I love that we've got Angela here today because she's our magazine editor for She Sells Magazine. I saw things like having a tremendous media company and going to 8 figures and beyond and launching a consultant certification and creating greater lifestyle freedom, and having multiple homes and multiple locations. And there was part of me that was really afraid of being alone and leaving people behind in that. Like some of the relationships that I valued most deeply, I had a deeper sense that they wouldn't be able to go with me to that level, not at least to the extent that I wanted to. And so the past 7, 8 months, there's been a lot of shifts in those spaces. And it's been like everything that you go through with that, right? Like uncomfortable conversations, releasing old relationships, letting things shift, letting things move, but allowing people to go to their highest good, not needing to make any relationship be anything other than what it is, being so true to myself in the process, like more than ever before in my life, and loving myself more than ever before, allowing myself to be supported in different ways, deciding that I want to be true to myself above everything else, and whatever relationships are meant to follow in that energy will. And if they're not, that's okay too. Like we let people flow in and out of our lives. We let people move in and out of our lives. Getting okay with the feeling of being a little lonely or being on your own for a while. Like those were some of the things that for me were holding back my capacity from going to the next level. And you got to face that to be able to do so. But so Carrie, to you, and as I've done it, it's like we've had quantum leap after quantum leap. Things are growing, things are expanding, the right people are coming in, relationships are shifting. The whole point of it is you got to get under the hood to see, what am I really like? What am I afraid of at the next level? What do I think is going to happen? And do I think I'm going to be alone? Do I think people are going to judge me? So often that's about visibility, where we're like, we know we want to be more visible. Um, Amy, I don't know if you're available to share what you shared in the 50K Marco Polo about, you don't even have to give numbers, but just like the shift you saw in your views the other day, or if, is it okay if I just give you a shout out for what you shared in the Marco Polos? So Amy's in our mastermind. She's one of the newer members of our mastermind, and really working on visibility. And Amy, you can drop your handle in the chat here if you want for people to go follow you, because she's got a really cool brand helping women 40 and above tone up, become more fit. It's amazing. But making that shift into seeing yourself like as a movement leader, your views like what quadrupled immediately when you made that shift. But a lot of times people have to get past the fear of like Who am I at this level? What does it mean when more people are seeing me or viewing me, right? It's that is all capacity. That is all capacity. So I want to, beautiful. I'd love to do some live coaching with someone here. I want you to think about if you want to receive some support and some coaching around expanding your capacity for whatever your next level is and what that would look like for you. Cherie, Michelle, I didn't see y'all on here. I just been flowing. Oh my gosh. I love it. These are my Empire babes. I get to see you all in a couple of days in North Carolina. That's beautiful. Okay. Who would like some support around this? Let's just move it. You all get it. I mean, I feel like you all understand this enough to say, all right, I know I want to go to another level. I know there's a place in which maybe I feel blocked or I haven't ascended past a certain level. So who would like to receive some support around this specifically? You can come off mute. You can raise your hand. You can type your name in the chat. Let me see here. What is Amy sharing? As soon as I joined the 50K mastermind, my views have 4x. Beautiful. Posted last night. It's at 30. Look at that. Already at 3,100 views. Yes. So here's the thing. It happens. Money comes after you make the decision. Visibility comes after you make the decision. Again, it's all identity. It's all an identity shift. So sometimes people will say, oh, well, I'm going to wait to invest in myself until, right, the money's there, the clients are there. I'm going to wait to call myself an influencer or a world thought leader until the numbers show me that. You have to make the shift first, and you have to see yourself as the woman or man who can naturally have and hold that amount of energy. That's what it is. So if you're in a season right now, I'm going to get to your comment in a second, Amy. Yes. If you're in a season right now where you feel stretched, or if you're in a season where you feel like, whoo, like I'm paddling to keep up, here's what I want you to know. You're in a capacity expanding season. I actually did that intentionally when I decided to get our second place down here in North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, because I knew it was going to be me and the three kids solo. And I knew that was going to expand my capacity. Right? Back home in Maine, we've got help. We've got a nanny. I've got summer camp for them down here, but that's about it right now. And it also means taking on another, like we're renting down here to start, but taking that on every month and furnishing a new place in a week and doing all of that. And I was like, because I have to be, and I get to be the version of myself who does this is going to expand my capacity. And where the first few nights solo with the kids, stretchy, yes. Did I have a few moments where I was like, whoa, this doesn't feel comfortable? Yes. But I tell you what, even in just a week, it's different. Like even in just a week, it's become easier. I'm seeing myself differently. I'm showing up differently. I feel like I've become a better mom in a week. I'm growing my business even more than before. Like when you put yourself in situations where you have to expand your capacity, that's where the growth lives. That's why, Amy, you joined 50K and then your views are like, because all of a sudden you're like, I get to do this, right? The subconscious responds to decisions. It responds to non-negotiables. It responds to this is happening no matter what, not to I would like that, I would love that, but I'm going to wait or I'm going to be passive or I'm going to sit back. That's not how it works. I'm just checking in here. Let's see here. Hold on. Comments. Yes, trusting the process. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's what we have to do. So does anyone have a question on this so far or want some coaching support on this? Again, when you think about your vision, I'm going back to like, Christina, I love what you shared about your goal here in the chat, or I think about like, I know Michelle, you're on, and we think about like the world changing brand that you're leading. Oh, Rachel's on. Oh my gosh. Rachel, hello. I love you. It's so good to see you. I think you've got my team and I were looking yesterday. I think you're like leaderboard right now on points in our community and the membership, which is amazing. I love it. We've got Lana on. Amazing. We've got Catherine. Hello, hello. We are so glad to have you all here. But yes, if anyone has a question on any of this or expanding your capacity, I want to work with you on it. I want to open up for it. So you can be thinking about what your question is. You can raise your hand. Would love to help support you. Michelle, I see you coming on camera, which is beautiful. Or Cherie with your goals. I know I'm going to see you in a couple of days, which is awesome. But does anyone have any particular questions on this before we keep moving, or any coaching support you would love around this before we keep moving? Christina, how do you manage the feeling of anxiety as you're working to shift your mindset and expand capacity? That's a beautiful question. Do you want to come off mute and talk through it?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. All right.
Um,
Go ahead.
I just feel anxiety, and when I'm thinking through why, it just doesn't necessarily make sense. I don't understand why I necessarily have the feelings. There's nothing. I mean, sometimes I understand where the feeling's coming from, given, work or what's happening or deadlines, but sometimes I just don't understand why I'm feeling it, and it inhibits my ability to be productive or to move through the day with like in a state of flow, because I feel stopped
Mm,
or distracted by those feelings. So,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
I love that question. I'll share my own personal experience here, Christina, in the hope that it helps. And then maybe we'll talk through it a little more in specifics to you, however far you want to go with it. So I used to be a woman who had a lot of anxiety. So especially when I think about like me in my 20s, um, struggling with again, panic attacks, eating disorder, stress, anxiety, fear. My own journey there was I actually wasn't listening to myself. And so there were some things in my life that were out of alignment that I wasn't dealing with or addressing. And it felt so uncomfortable that I would try to drown out the noise. That was actually how I discovered podcasting. So I was like, I don't want to sit alone with my own. Like there was just stuff that was out of alignment. I was in a job that wasn't aligned. I was in a marriage that wasn't aligned. I was in just situations that weren't healthy. And I had stopped listening to my body. I'd stopped listening to myself. So for me, a big part of it was going on an inner healing journey to actually hear myself again, to listen to myself again. I read a book called Eating in the Light of the Moon that really helped me. I think regardless of whether someone has an eating disorder or not, I think it helped me as a woman reconnect with my body knowing and reconnect with myself. So I love that. One of the things that we do a lot in the community is, and this is for men and for women, but one of the four quadrants of quantum sales growth is masculine and feminine energy. And it's about actually learning to listen to yourself again, learning to tune back into your own inner wisdom. Um, but the other thing that I'll say with that is I don't know how long that's been a thing for you, but I've done, and we weave in this work into our community. I've done a lot of Joe Dispenza's work, and I think it's fabulous for this. I don't know if you do his meditations or so because the body becomes addicted to the cortisol from the anxiety. And so a lot of it I've found is somatic. Like again, I used to be a woman who experienced a lot of anxiety. I had to notice that was that it felt normal, it felt like me, but I started opening up to the concept of like, well, not everyone has this experience, so maybe it's not universal, maybe it doesn't have to be me. What would it be like to not be anxious, to be a woman who's calm, who's present, who's collected, who's grounded, who trusts? So I
Mhm.
did a lot of his work to recondition my body because again, anxiety, it's addictive. The cortisol spike you get from that, the body will trigger a thought to the mind. It'll need a spike of it, a hit of it, and it'll trigger a thought. I've worked with members of the community where they're like, why am I waking up at 3 a.m. worried about something when like I know deep in my soul everything's okay. Um, but the body needs a hit of the cortisol. So it'll trigger a thought to the mind of like, well, you've got this going on, or you're whatever the thing is that's going to get you anxious or worried to create that feeling again, that hit of that cortisol. And that helped me to realize, oh my gosh, so much of this is like my body on autopilot, wanting to feel this feeling because it feels normal and it's addicted to it, but it's not actually me. And so that's what I would start to play with, is like, who is the version of Christina without the anxiety? And what would she need to know to empower her to experience that? And I'll just share, like, that was part of my experience. I don't experience that anymore. I really don't. Some of it, a lot of it comes from understanding universal law from the work we do in the programs and in the community. And a lot of it is stuff I've learned from great mentors, great leaders of mine who have helped me with reconditioning my self-concept as well. But anxiety it typically stems from, it's future tripping, right? It's like worried about the future. It's this or that. I created the belief that I will always have what I need when I need it, and I'll always know what to do when it's time. And I think that is part of expanding your capacity, because if you feel like you have to control every detail, if you feel like you have to know every part of it, if you don't know that you're always taken care of, always supported at every point in time and space, no matter what, whether you can see the next 10 steps in front of you or just one, then you can get into a pattern or a loop of like worrying about it or feeling anxiety about it. But I just decided years ago, I don't do that for myself anymore. It's not worth it. So, I've got something right now today with some schooling for one of my kids in the fall, where it's like something I really wanted. They wrote me back and they're like, we don't have a spot anymore. And I was like, okay, I know it's going to work out. Like, I know it's this or something better. I know I'm going to figure it out. I know. And the old version of Elyse probably would have been like, oh my gosh, you've got to figure this out right now. And then like gone into anxiety or gone into worry or got into a loop about it. I don't have the time or the energy for that right now. Like, it just doesn't work for me to do that. And so I was
Mhm.
like, okay, cool. Would I have loved maybe a different answer? Sure. Do I know everything is always working out for me and it's going to happen exactly as it needs to, when it needs to, and I'm going to know what I need to know when I need to know it? Yes. And am I going to put it out into the universe that I am available for whatever is highest and best for my kids in this next season? Yes. So part of that is understanding universal law and understanding the law of sufficiency and abundance, that you'll always have what you need when you need it. That can be
Mhm.
ideas, inspiration, resources. But to me, I use that all the time to say, I know, like, all I really need to know is what's the next step. I'm going to hold the big picture vision and intention of what I'm calling in. And then I'm going to move my body and I'm going to move the energy as much as I can in my life with what I have right now towards what I want, being open to the best and highest good for all, whatever that looks like. And I think when you do that, coupled with some of the nervous system rewiring, like meditations and doing the somatic work in your body that you can do through some of Dr. Joe's work, or we do it in the community too, like, you reach a point where you're just not a woman who deals with that anymore. And so I hope that helps. I don't know if it does, but I think even maybe just like painting the possibility that it doesn't have to be a thing, it doesn't have to be part of who you are anymore. And then I'd get curious again about like, who is Christina without this? And like anxiety, what are you protecting me from? Like, thank you for protecting me from whatever it is. Thank you for being here. It's also always a younger part of you who's scared or nervous or whatever. So you can work with that part. But that's what I would say. That was a very long answer, but I hope
That
that
was
I
great.
hope it serves and helps. And I think it's really brilliant that you asked it, because I think a lot of people can probably relate as
Mhm.
well. But the one thing I'll say to tie it in, and then we'll chat for a minute with the entire group about how to go deeper and what we have coming up, because I want to make sure we have time for that too. Um, but what I would say is this ties in with expanding your capacity, because if you're anxious at a certain level, the subconscious can say, okay, so here's my present level of results, whatever they are, and I'm feeling a certain amount of anxiety, like maybe a 6 out of 10 about a lot of things. You've got a vision to have more, to receive more, to take on more clients, more team, more opportunities, more whatever. But if the subconscious equates that with more anxiety, you're not going to do it. You're not like, it's going to block the ideas. You're going to procrastinate on it. You're going to do this or self-sabotage, whatever it is, to not call it in. So you don't have to deal with that perceived increased level of anxiety. So that's where I would look at what belief is going to most support me to get to where I want to go, which is about expanding capacity and saying, I'm a woman who's always well-resourced. I'm a woman who always, like, she's always at ease with what's in front of her. I have more than enough time, energy, resources, experience, money, connections for whatever it is that I desire. And I can easily take on more. When you expand your inner capacity, your outer capacity shifts. And I think that's way earlier in this call, I made a point that I never finished, which is that capacity is both the structure, the systems, having things in place to be able to have and hold more clients, opportunities, money, energy, etc. But it's also primarily your energetic capacity. Do you feel like you could take on more? Before this, kind of in this current growth edge that I'm in, I started really looking at it and saying, like, I could take on so much more. Like, there were a lot of people in my life around me who felt capped, who felt stretched, who felt like, oh my gosh, we've got so much going on. Like, there's no way we can take on more. And I was like, I feel like I could take on so much more. But that came from the identity work that we're talking about here and that we do in the programs and in the community, to help me see myself as a woman where, like, it's not a big deal to take on these things. I want to just check and see what's in the chat here. Is it Lana or Lana? I'm so glad to see you. I know you've been in our community before, and I'm so happy to see you. I want to pronounce your name correctly, so please let me know if I'm
Hey,
hi.
yes.
How
Hey
are you?
there. It's Lana, but I go
Lana,
by either
thank
one. It's all good.
you. It's so good to see you. I feel like
Good to see you.
it's been like years. It's so good to see you here. Hello.
Yes. I love all your work and following you, and I'm extremely interested in what you all do with the mastermind group. It's been just listening to you, it resonates so much. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. It's so good to see you, Lana. And let's book a call. I'll talk in a few minutes about how, for everyone who's here, how you can go deeper into the community, the programs, book a call. But I was so thrilled to see your name. I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. It's so good. Let me just read your question in the chat. I'm so glad it's resonating. You want to participate in the mastermind program this weekend, but haven't even started my business. My dream seems so big. Ooh, okay. Okay, I love this. So let me answer your questions about the program, and then we'll talk about your coaching question as well. So, Lana, I think what you're referencing is we've got an event coming up this weekend for a group that I co-founded with Jessica Papineau and Michelle Chalfant. Some of y'all are here, called the Empire. We have a retreat happening in Charlotte, North Carolina, which we still do have tickets on sale for. So if anyone is here and you want to come join us, I think we can still take more. I think message and I'll confirm. But it kicks off Thursday night and into Friday. It's going to be beautiful. So will there be other mastermind events like that? Yes. We will have more coming up for that. And Lana, let's book a call and just talk through everything for you, because it may be that group, it may be something else, we'll see, but let's talk about what your vision and goals are, and then we'll help get you plugged in. And we have, so that's a beautiful program and group. I have multiple groups and masterminds, which I'll talk through in a second. And it's really designed to just support and meet you with where you're at and help take you to your beautiful journey and destination. What I want to speak to is, you said your dream is so big, it's hard to think it could be a reality. Your dream would not be there if you were not meant to create it. Seriously, I think this is so important. And the way that dreams work, I'll speak to an example, and then I got to talk about how we can connect, so that I actually talk about that before the top of the call. And I see Lauren is connecting with you in the chat, which is great. So I love, 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 love my business, what I do. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm going to use this example because I think it speaks to the power of believing in a big dream. Before I launched She Sells, I had an idea for a personal branding company. This was, oh my gosh, 2013, 2014, 2015, that I started doing on the side while I was, I think I was still in corporate at that point, I believe. I don't know, to be honest. I think it was around that time. And I started it with a couple of friends, and we kind of did it loose. I was like, yeah, I've got this thing. Like, I want to do this. It feels right. We had like a little bit of success, but my self-concept was not nearly what it is right now. And so our results, I would say, were mediocre. Fast forward a couple of years, a few friends of mine, there was a lot that happened that went into this that we don't have time for today, but I was partnered in a sales coaching company where a lot of things shifted quickly internally in the company almost overnight. I decided to leave. A number of the founders decided to leave at the same time. And we started another personal branding company. Two of these were the leaders from the company. They founded it. And I was like, I'm coming with you. I'm doing it. This company has become one of the biggest personal branding companies in the world. It is, it was beautiful to work alongside them for several years. The name is almost identical to what I had come up with on my own. The concepts are similar, but the point of that is, here's the point. And again, I wouldn't have it any other way than what I'm doing right now. I'm thrilled with what I'm doing. I love it. That vision for a personal branding company that would change the world, it came through me to start, but I didn't have the identity or the self-concept or the perceived capacity to be able to do it. These people did. And they took it to a whole nother level. So that dream, that vision that's coming through you, it's coming through you because you have the capacity to do it, but you have to see yourself as someone who can do it. Get yourself in rooms with people who can help support you. We'll talk about what that looks like in a minute, or it'll go to someone else. Because the way I think about that is like God, source, universe, spirit. This is an idea from the divine that wants to be created and wants to be brought forth on the physical plane. It's coming through you because you have the capacity and the desire to do it. But if you don't act on it, or if you count yourself out, it's going to come through someone else because it's meant to come through at this point. Does that make sense? So you've got to create the self-concept and the capacity of, yes, I can do this. Yes, this is me. Like, yes. So that's, I hope that helps, but I wanted to share that story to give an example there. So, okay, here we go. I'm seeing Rachel in the chat. I've never won. I love that. Yes. Let's talk about what's next. This was amazing. Thank you all so much for being here. And I love it. So for those of you who are already in the community, we love you. We're so glad you're here. We appreciate you. You can always book a call just to talk about like ways we can go further, ways we can support you from here. And we would love that too. So Lauren, if we want to drop the next steps link in the chat, that would be amazing. We exist, my team and I exist to help support you in your growth, in your ascension, in your quantum leap. We have everything from a beautiful community. It's a low ticket program where you can come in, get plugged in our membership. It's amazing. There's other guest mentors and teachers there. I lead a quarterly training in that program as well, to my signature program, the 10K Club, which is about helping you create a beautiful, prosperous business, whether you're in coaching, an entrepreneur, maybe you're a sales leader. We have so many in there from so many different industries: dentistry, personal training, B2B selling, but creating a beautiful, prosperous business using the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth as your guide. It's a 12-month program. I'm in there teaching and leading it. My team helps support as well. That's beautiful. So that's the 10K Club, our signature program. My mastermind, the next level up, is for women who are already at the 6-figure level looking to go to multi-six and beyond. It's high access, high proximity. We take you on retreats. There's beautiful experiences. And that's on that page as well. The thing I would most encourage everyone to do is to book a call, book some time to chat. There's zero pressure, but it's all about helping you get into the community, the level, the program, that's the support that's going to help you ascend, help you quantum leap. And we want to support you in that. So the biggest thing I'll say just as we wrap again is your desires are green lights. Like whatever is speaking to you, whatever your vision is, it's meant to come through you. And we want to help support you in achieving that, making way more money than ever before, having way more success than ever before, doing life on your terms. I personally, I'm a woman who now runs a multi-million-dollar business working part-time hours so I can be there with my kiddos. Like whatever your version of your quantum leap is, you can do that. And we want to support you in doing that. So you can book a call through that page, and would love to connect with you and to chat further about how we can help support you. Lauren, thank you for dropping all of those links in the chat as well. I think that's it. We love you all. Register for next week's expansion room again. Thank you for being here. We cannot wait to see you. I hope to chat and connect with many of you on a call. This was really fun to be with you today. So I love you. Thank you. Thank you. You're amazing. And we will see you